at WC.
Yeah, he was on the he worked for Michigan as a 29-year-old engineer. He had to go to he had to go to Hiroshima and got off the trolley bus and bam, the plane blew up. He got some like bullets on his lungs. Went back to his hometown and Nagasaki. They thought he was lost the next day. Got the attacks, bam, it's terrible.
So he's like 93 or something. He just died. He was the oldest survivor.
I didn't even know there was
I'm proud of that. Got a little bit closer to me.
He was on the train.
yeah, that is the worst.
Why is the called also blowing the chart?
He was there.
When Israel, we didn't have contact with Israel.
Oh,
Is that cancer?
No, he died at 93 at national classes.
They have a dungeon. They go to their basement. They have like you could like change your slaves.
Where?
It's on.
And there were people behind you? How is
Like
it?
a very, no Jews, no blacks.
Yeah, I moved away from the
You like go look at the records?
Our part of Chicago doesn't have that same meaning because there were some of the original suburbs. It's like once a little further out, they like ran out. We're named after like a French explorer. You're looking at it.
Oh crap.
There was a shed here, a different bunker. As I don't know if you noticed, before the cafe, there's like a little
We just drop more. Again.
Is everyone in?
Because I'm in St. Ken.
No. What Moshe said up there about Aviko Kahalani, the commander he met. I'm trying to think what it's like to meet the commander and to show him what's where he fought. And what he said to his soldiers is very severe. He called them cowards. If you don't come, you're a coward. And on the other hand, once they do come, we don't say, oh, they did their job. We say they're heroes for not being cowards and not turning around, even though they didn't exactly know what the odds were and where they would go and what would be. And with that thing in mind about heroes, like we said earlier, Eli Cohen, the spy, one kind of hero in my opinion, and the soldiers who fought here, because they don't have a choice, but also because they're very dedicated to the objective. They can turn around and go back to the base. And 1973, they did a lot of mistakes here. The Syrians got almost as far as the Lake Kinneret. There was very little stopping them. That's how surprised we were. The main unit that was stopping them was that unit that Moshe mentioned up here. Because of the heroes, I want to dedicate a moment or two to a different kind of heroes who tried to start right now, and they're not with us. And we don't know if they're alive or dead. The people who came up here to the border, either in battle or just on reserve duty, and were kidnapped or were abducted, and now they're what we call MIA, missing in action. The most famous one for many years in Israel is still, we don't exactly know what happened to him, is Ron Arad, who was a navigator Rubin, some of you have heard his name, I think. In 1986, in a battle, his plane was shot down. Some of the people were killed, and he was taken alive. And we have a letter from him, photographs, and somehow he lost his track of what happened to him. Now, his wife can't remarry. We're 24 years later, because she doesn't know if her husband's alive or dead. So what do you do in that situation? His children don't know whether their father's alive or dead. We think that he's not alive, but we can't be absolutely sure. And we don't have information about him. And then over the years, there have been other captured soldiers that we've negotiated for, and they've returned alive, safe to their families. And negotiations in Israel means paying a price by releasing either other prisoners of war, or now in these days, in most cases, terrorists. The organization we're dealing with in Syria, and we'll hear more about it on Sunday when we're close to Lebanon, it's called Hamas. It's Hezbollah. And this terror organization has kind of overtaken the country of Lebanon, and they're being funded by Syria and Iran, and they're running the show there. And what they request in return for soldiers are terrorists, and they request large amounts. And then we have a dilemma. We have a soldier who's kidnapped. His name is Gilad Shalit. And I hope you've heard his name, and if you haven't, it's a good time to learn it. Gilad Shalit is 22, but he was 19 when he was kidnapped 3 years ago. And we're negotiating for his life. Very recently, Hamas, a terror organization that captured him in Gaza, and released a video where he's talking to us, and we can see him and almost feel him. And the price that they're asking is that we release a lot of terrorists. And what do we do with those terrorists? Like, what's going to be their next thing? So I don't want to be in the place of the parents or the government who's dealing with this dilemma. And maybe we can go in more depth into this dilemma further on during the week. But 2 soldiers were kidnapped when they were on reserve duty, on the last day of reserve duty, before they were headed home. Very close to here, about 25 minutes from here. Their name were Ehud Goldwasser and Eldad Regev. They were attacked, and we didn't exactly know what happened to them. And Ehud Goldwasser was a newlywed, was married for half a year. He's 32 at the time. And Eldad Regev, much younger, is early 20s, a boy from one of the settlements here in the north. And the terrorists requested to release a large amount of people. But the highest price we paid to have their return was releasing a terrorist who had attacked in a city called Nahariya, very close to where Ehud Goldwasser lives. And he attacked the family, and he killed the baby, smashing it against the wall in the father's eyes, killing the father. Another child died, suffocated while the mother was trying to hide her, and only the mother survived. This is one of the things this guy did. And what do we do? And Israel decided to release him and other terrorists for the sake of getting these 2 boys back. And Hezbollah wouldn't tell us if they were alive or dead. And when he was released and he was sent back to Syria, he was received there like in a huge party, like this is a hero there. I'm sure he's not a hero to every Syrian person, but that's what Hezbollah treated him. He's a hero because he was caught in battle and he's being returned home. And for some people, this deal was very difficult to comprehend. How do you do that? How do you release a person like that? What's going to be his next step in life? And one of the answers is in the following song. Very shortly after they were abducted, this song, I'm going to hand out sheets, and there's one for 2 people. The song was written by a person who heard about it. He's a parliament member's helper. Okay? He's just like a desk job in the Knesset. He heard about it and he wrote the song. He called it Khalid, the wife of Ehud Goldwasser, and he shared it with her. And he contacted a composer who put the words to music. And in Kisalia, where we were yesterday, there's a theater. Well, that theater is still in use. We've renovated it. And Ehud Goldwasser and Nimrod Lev, the composer and the singer in this case, got up on stage and sang this song.